You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good day, goodbye, hello, welcome along. And now the end is near. Thank fuck for that. Honestly, it's been like watching your favourite dog slowly die over a number of weeks, knowing that you can't help it. That's what it's been like being somebody said, "What's it like being a Leicester City fan at the moment?" That was how I described it. Oh, it's been painful. Well, welcome along. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die, live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us and watching. Please join in with your comments and your votes as well. Votes or even your whatever they're called. Predictions, that's the word I'm looking for. It's been a long day. For those listening on podcast, whether that be on YouTube or on Spotify or any of the others, welcome along. Thank you for lending me your ears. Alternatively, ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die. Oh, it's all going oh so well. And if you want to follow us on any of our socials, there they all are. Either LTID TV or Leicester Till I Die you'll be able to find us on every single one of those. But we've got to start this evening before anything else. We have got to start with some breaking news. Yes, it is very sad breaking news, as you can see. But Chelsea legend Frank Leboeuf has slammed former Leicester City defender Wesley Fofana for being immature after the Blues were thrashed by Manchester United. Fofana, who was nutmegged by Bruno Fernandes in the 4-1 defeat at Old Trafford to concede the penalty and was at fault again for the misplaced pass that led to Marcus Rashford scoring, did not come out of the reports very well. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie me. What a shame. What a shame. I mean, let's go over to... I think we can go over to our Man United correspondent. Maisie, what do you think about it? Good evening, Brad.
The French Voldemort, he strikes again.
I couldn't resist. What a shame for him, isn't it? What a shame.
Oh, no. I know, my heart bleeds that the French Voldemort did that. You know what? You was on about voting. I know tonight's prediction show, Chris. You blame me for not remembering what show I'm on each week. You're asking for votes on a prediction show is quite skillful. But you could do a poll. Which club did Leicester rob blind more? Is it A, Harry Maguire's £80 million move to Manchester United, or is it B, Fofana going to Chelsea for £75 million?
You can read my notes. aren't you?
I do. I've got Clark Kent, mate. I take glasses off. I'm Superman. With them on, I just see your notes.
I got to put me some trousers on before I started doing this. Then, yeah, Mad Maguire or Flop Fafana. Well, so it says here they paid 75 million to us for him. Cheers, Chelsea. But, I was going to say, have you had a good week? But not sure.
It's been a very up and down week, personally, and being a Leicester fan, it's been an up and down week. So yeah.
But look, I've got to start first of all by saying a very good evening to this young man. No idea who he is, but welcome along to Ash. And let me just bring the right thing up, and that would help, wouldn't it? It has been one of those days today. There we go. Ash Patani. Don't know who the hell he is. He joined the channel today, and he became a member today. So fair play to him. It's probably Barack Baroud or whatever he is in disguise. I'll have to ban him again. But Ash, look, welcome along, mate. Thank you very, very much. $1.99 of your good English pence every month. And that's what you get. It helps keep LTID running and helps me be able to afford to pay Braddy's extremely high wages. You get loyalty badges and emojis if you ask for them, custom badge for members. You get shout-outs. Comments will be guaranteed to be shown, and exclusive YouTube posts as well. And also, if you want to join in the live chat or on the show, you can do. And after a qualifying period, you can get discounted merchandise. As it says there, click on the link below in the YouTube description. T&Cs do apply. Tony Cotty. And I tell you what, having just said that, who is the first person in the comments? But do you ever remember what was it? Generation Game? Bruce Forsyth, lovely Anthea Turner. Well,
sort of, yes.
We have our own Anthea Turner in the chat, and I've got to say it's lovely to see her. Kate, give us a 12. Good evening, how are you? She is a member, and we do appreciate your support, Kate. Thank you very much for coming along. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Niall is back. Good evening, Niall. How are you? Welcome along, sir. And Welsh is in. Chris, good evening. Good evening. I know I asked you this the other day, but to be honest, I don't follow the lower leagues, although I'm going to have to start doing that soon. But did Carlisle get through to the final of the playoffs? I think they did, didn't they? So well done for that. Chris says Brad thinks he's Superman in his Narnia world. He may think he's Superman. He doesn't know the offside rule or who gets the most. And Nate is in. Good afternoon, Nate. Hope all is well. Look, as well as it can be going into this. But look, let's for about 90 minutes. Let's forget the world of Leicester City. I know it's not easy, but we're gonna try. And look, you may notice somebody's missing. I mean, Brady's here, but you know, you could argue that he is missing. We have no Steve. Unfortunately, it's bank holiday weekend and he's away with the family. And I was going to get a replacement on, but to be totally honest with you, look at that. Is there any point?
No. Sadly for Steve, there's no point, which is ironic because it probably means he'll get more points this week by not being here, or the same as what he always does.
Yeah, I should have actually put a big red R next to his name, shouldn't I?
Yeah, well, you did tell me about it, and I did call him the Southampton of the Predictions League because he's already out of commission.
Yes, but Steve, mate, 4 last week, 150. We love you, Steve. We really do. And thank you so very, very much for all you do for the show, which includes the prizes for next year. And we'll come on to that in a second. But I mean, Brad, look, you and me, we are technically better than Arsenal because at least we're keeping the title race going to the last week.
You know what, Chris? I was about to say, what's the difference between Man City and Arsenal and us pair? It's just, at least we can take the title fight to the last day of the season.
Exactly. It's close. And last week we couldn't There wasn't a slice of toilet paper between us, was there?
No, there wasn't. And every time one of us...
If there was, it would have been stuck to your bottom, not mine.
Well, that's very true. In fact, the way the results went, at one point I was level, at one point you'd extended your lead. It was a marvellous week of football, and well, in terms of our lead changing, it'll be a whole different one this week. I'll be too interested in two particular results to care about the other ones before I realise who's won or lost.
Yes, so just remember you're going first, and
I'll wait for Steve's answers.
I may have to agree with you a bit this week.
No, it might come down to the Leicester West Ham game being the difference.
You might be right there, sir. You might be right. But look, let me tell you, ladies and gentlefolk, we'll just say a couple more hellos, and then I will explain the new rules to you. Best £2 I spend all month, Kate. Thank you so very much. You're not even asking for the change there. And I think I'm very cheap, to be honest with you. like my ex-wife, she used to sort of, we needed a bit of money, so she went out working the streets, and she came back, and I said, "How have you done? She said, I've got £100 and 50p. I went, which cheap bastard gave you 50p? She went, oh, they all did. Right.
Oh, dear.
Oh, God. What can I say?
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I am. I'll get rid of myself. It's over to you, Brad. It's all you. I mean, I left. I hope you got an Eagle Piggle to talk to, because I had to leave Dave on his own the other week.
Yeah, so it's probably best for him. Probably the best thing he could do.
Most senses ever spoken. Zane, good evening. How are you? Welcome along, sir. Bad luck for Liverpool not getting the top four. I don't think you'd have probably expected it the way the season's gone, but a bit of a late push nearly got you there. And hanging is in. Big up, guys. I really hope you stay up this weekend. To be honest with you, everybody seems to want to, or everybody thinks we'll stay up unless they're a Leicester City fan. And then they don't. So, anyway, I don't think I've got what I wanted to show everybody up here. Let me just have a look, Brad, because now, here we go. So this is what's going to happen next season. It's all going to be extremely interesting because Brad's going to be doing it. Although I did find out this week, maybe I need to give him a company calculator. It's not just the answers you lose, is it, Brad?
No, apparently not.
Oh, God. Okay, so look, as of next season, whether we are in the Championship or whether we are in the Premier League, we will be doing or extending the Prediction League. So basically, what you need to do is get on over to Twitter and follow at Full-Time Focus. And that is Brad to you and me, at Full-Time Focus, all one word, except Brad's follow back. You need to send your predictions for that weekend's game and the following week, because obviously we're in the Championship, they'll be coming thick and fast and there's 2 games a go. Send your predictions to Brad by Thursday at 9 p.m. Include all the games up to the following Friday, so like I said, in case there's 2 weeks. Any predictions not in on time will not be included, and you'll lose any points that week. And you can message Brad and beg, steal, and borrow. Basically, he said, Chris, if they don't get it in, tell them to go away. So on his authority, it's not in by 9. You don't get, they just don't count that week. All predictions must be set out as Manchester City 2, Leeds United 1, not 2-1, 3-0, because depending which site everybody uses, they're all listed in different orders. Correct scores get you 3 points. Correct outcome gets you 1. Entry is now open. Weekly updates will be shown on this show every Friday. And 11th of June, we actually close down. You can't see it because of the ticker tape going across the bottom. But 11th of June, we are going to be closing entries. And thanks to the ever-generous Mr. Lynex, we take the piss out of him when he's not here, but he has been so very, very generous that the overall winner, and he's going to sponsor the show again next season, but the overall winner of that league will get a Foxy 7 clothing bundle. And to get over to see what you get over to foxy7clothing.co.uk. The overall winner will receive one of each of the following: a cap, a beanie, a t-shirt, a sweat top, and a hoodie. And I tell you what, that is not a bad little package. So our thanks to Steve for that. And very, very generous of him. And I'm just actually trying to find his jingle, and I can't find it. Oh, don't know where it's gone. But that's very generous of him, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, all for a free to enter prediction show. It's very generous to have any prizes up for grabs. So yeah, make sure you're doing exactly what the instructions were. Send me a follow on Twitter. Just let me know you want to be in, and then I will make a nice little folder to keep you all together, so I can remember you are and don't lose out. And yeah, just follow them instructions. Your name will be written down to have you in for the show, so I know who you are. And yeah, good luck to everybody who decides to enter.
Indeed. I've obviously got rid of the jingle already, thinking it was already had the last show. I tell you what, instead of that, I'll just play my new jingle.
Bell end.
There we go. It's going to get used a lot this next week. Right, okay. Let's talk football predictions. There is only really, I mean, all right, there's a little bit of a mini battle as to which part of Europe Spurs, if at all, are going to be breaking into. But apart from that, it's all happening at the bottom, shown by the fact that all the games in that bottom fight are being covered by Sky and BT.
Yeah, Arsenal were very, very gracious of them, because they said, no, Leicester, you're a massive club. You are elite. We've heard from Gorinda the Wise, and she said to us that you are such a massive elite club that you deserve to have your last game on telly.
What? I'm Premier League. I am elite. I am proper elite. No. I am Gorinda.
Exactly, Gorinda. So she spoke the wise words of Gorinda, and they said, we're going to do you a favour. And I said to them, what's that, Arsenal? And they said, we're going to throw the league. We're going to let Man City win it again, so it's all boring, so everybody can watch Leicester's great survival, because they are elite and they need to be a Premier League club. Hashtag not my Rotherham, that's what they said. So we're there to support and defend Corinda's. So there you go. That's why we're on the tally, because we are elite.
Whoever comes bottom of the league will get a specially commissioned Leicester Till I Die TV sat nav that basically only takes you to Rotherham. Doesn't take you anywhere else at all. And as you can see there on the screenshot. Look, I found it, so let's give him a mention.
The prediction show from Leicester Till I Die TV is brought to you by ex-Fox Steve Lynex and foxy7clothing.co.uk.
Back of the net.
The website is down at the moment. It is just being redone, so bear with Steve and his family. Yeah, I mean, we're all going to need some anus sold this weekend, aren't we? Because it certainly tied up the bottom there, isn't it, Brad?
It certainly is. A point separates myself and you, and it's nearly as close as Leicester Everton. So there we go. We're looking forward to that.
I don't know if I can bear to watch it, to be honest with you. I literally, I'm going to be swearing on the watch long. I know it. Now look, let's get into the game, shall we? Because that's what we're here for, after all, despite all this happy, chappy sort of banter. And let's have a look at the first game, which is going to be... oh, bless you. It's going to be Aston Villa Brighton, according to this list that I've used. So Aston Villa, Brad, are looking at... Well, they're in 7th. Congratulations to Brighton above them who are in Europe. But Aston Villa are in 7th on 58. So they can't really go any higher than 7th. But you've also got... who are they playing? I've forgotten already.
Brighton Villa. Is that Villa?
Yeah, so it's a 6th versus 7th. I'm not sure whether Aston Villa are actually in Europe or not. Have they qualified for Europe?
Don't think so. No, Brighton have. We know Liverpool got Europa League, so I think there is still one position up for grabs. Brighton, Liverpool, Man U, Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea. No, not Chelsea.
Thinking perhaps depending if Man City win the FA Cup or not.
No, that doesn't matter because they're in a higher competition than what the FA Cup qualifies you for. The FA Cup only qualifies you for, I think it's Europa League. So it kind of goes.
If Manchester City win it, they're already in the Champions League. If they were to win it, then it would be Manchester United who are taking boxer. They're already in the Champions League, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So then there would be possibly a spare place going.
I don't know. I just know the top 7 go into the league, so I assume 7th place is the only one that's up for grabs, isn't it?
I think so. Which looking at that, like I say, currently that is where Aston Villa. That is where Aston Villa are. It is a battle because Tottenham Hotspur are one place behind them and 8th, and only a point behind them. So depending how the results go. So if Brighton could do Spurs a favour by beating Villa, last 6 games it's been 3 wins for Villa, 1 for Brighton, 2 draws. Earlier on in the season, it was a Desmond 2-2. How do you see this one, Brad?
It's an interesting one because Brighton have done what they were scarcely believing they could achieve all season, pretty much. But they've deservedly earned themselves a European tour. I hope they don't do a Burnley and get drawn against bloody Aberdeen. That'd be hilarious. Do you remember that when Burnley had never left Europe and then the first team they got to play or something like that was Aberdeen? So, I hope they have more of a prosperous one than that. And it's well deserved. Villa have been really good under Mr. Good Evening. So, this could be a good game because I don't know if you'd say, and I know it's pardon the pun because they are a seaside club, but it's becoming less and less regular that we see teams go on the old proverbial beach when they've accomplished all they can.
Yeah.
And I think that I think you have to kind of in a way say very well played the media because it's the media and the pundits having a go every year saying, oh, it's not right, they're doing this, they're playing the kids, they're playing the reserves, they shouldn't be doing it, it's cheating in a way, has forced teams to kind of make sure they're still playing a respectable enough squad to stay in there. So I don't think we'll see Brighton suddenly playing fringe players, maybe the odd 1 or 2 that have maybe only had a handful of games this season come in. I know they played Luke Steele, I think, is their second choice goalkeeper. I don't know if that's because their first one got suspended or had an injury for a while, but he has played a game.
One of the top goalkeepers, but I think he was, didn't he? He either ran somebody over or unfortunately killed somebody in a car accident.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think he was. I might have even been at Man United, to be honest with you. The funny thing is here, Aston Villa on home form, of course, Aston Villa are at home. Villa are in 7th, Brighton are in 8th. And on away form, Brighton are in 4th, Villa are in 7th.
Yeah, so, again, a few years ago, when teams maybe rested their best players, let them go on holiday early and played the up-and-coming under-21 stars, maybe a little bit gone from this game. But Brighton haven't lied down all season, and that's because they've been chasing Europe for all of it.
They did against Everton.
Oh, yeah, but nobody turned up that game. In fact, Brighton was still seen driving around the stadium at Goodison Park because they got the fixture the wrong way round. Bloody arseholes for that. I'm still bitter about it. I'll say it, Chris. Don't worry.
You are. Let it go. Let it go.
I don't know. Didn't know. No, and no. I just think that maybe it's at home. They'll want to end the season well. I think they'll want to get European football. They'll want to make sure they're the team that makes everybody go, let's all laugh at Tottenham. I still think Brighton will turn up and make it difficult for them. I'm going to go I'm gonna go 3-1 Villa. I just think whilst Brighton won't put out a weekend side, I think they put so much into that 37 games. They're not at the Amex, so they don't. They've had the party celebration with that draw at Man City. They've got the European football confirmed. It might be a case of unwind a little bit, take their eye off the ball with the greatest respect, and I think that will benefit Villa, and they'll win the game 3-1.
Okay,
and I've just wrote that in the wrong area. I'm having a bad day, Chris. I'm having a bad day. I meant to write that in my section.
The both of us here.
I've wrote it in my little full-time section. So if it happens now, it was a sign.
It was. Well, funny thing is, I think it could be. I think Bournemouth will get an away. Bournemouth. What am I saying? I think Brighton will get an away goal, but I think Villa will get 3. So I'm going to go 3-1 to Aston Villa. Because I think that sounds like a very
conspiracy theory, guys. He's got a point lead, so if he copies all my results, it's a conspiracy. Corruption of the highest order.
Look, I was speaking to my dad, Sepp, earlier on, and he said the best thing to do. I went, yes, Mr. Blatter. He went, the best thing to do is just to copy Brad, and I thought he's a man of integrity. He's a man I like the cut of his jib. No, all joking apart, I'm not going to go 3-1. I am actually going to go 2-2. I think it'll be a second Desmond for these two teams. I think it'll be an exciting game. I can't see the point in resting players, and we'll remind me when we come on to Bournemouth about resting players, because I've got a point to make there. I'll write that down. Bournemouth resting players. So I'm going to go for a 2-2. Let's have a look what people have been going for in the chat. Just a couple in at the moment. Chris Welsh is saying 2-1 to Villa, as indeed is told you. So they've all agreed with you that Villa are going to do it, but by one less goal than you predicted. And despite the fact that I think I would have gone 3-1 had you not gone for that, I'm going to go for 2-2. Okay, so next up we have got, and it's just the way they've come out here, Everton hosting Bournemouth, which is the game that we don't want to be a home win for Everton. I wish this was away. I really do, because Everton are shit away unless they play Leicester. Bournemouth, look, Gary Neal. First of all, I think earlier a week or so we said, "Oh no, I'm going to do the best we can. It means a lot to the club and finish as high." And now he's coming out and saying, "We've got to think about the team next season. £200 million it's worth for us. So I've got to start thinking about next season." No, you fucking haven't. Don't think about next season yet. How can you be thinking one game is going to tell you anything that you don't know about the players? What a plonker. You've gone on mute, Brad.
This is what you don't want to hear, because then you're thinking, God, if you see a team that no Bournemouth fan recognises, we might as well not bother, because they ain't getting anything from stupid. Yeah. And this is where you think, you don't know how to do it, but this is where you need to think laws need to be in place. Because I will be, you know what, I'll be fuming. I will be fuming if Bournemouth plays some under 16-year-olds, some 17. I'll be like, why? Why have you done that for? You're supposed to be playing it fair. And this is why I vouch for the argument that it is a form of cheating, because you're willingly throwing a game to give the opposition a win. And if that's not cheating, I don't know what is. But I sound like sour grapes, I know, but it's been the same every other season where someone's conveniently played a bunch of 19-year-olds that have never kicked a ball. If you want to be thinking of next season, then go out and beat Everton and finish a couple of places higher and earn yourself more money to spend on your transfer, surely.
Do you remember this guy?
Bell End.
He actually said last season that he was going to play all the youngsters. He didn't. He ended up not doing. I think if you're going to say I've got 3 or 4 games left, then that's different. Possibly, I could kind of understand that. But when it's just one game, but your team you're playing is involved in that. I mean, if they were playing, I don't know, Crystal Palace, right? Both are safe. Then do what the fuck you want. But when your team is involved in, or the team you're playing, sorry, is involved in a million. I mean, they say the biggest game is coming up from the Championship. It's just as big going down. I think it's disgusting myself.
Yeah, I really, really hope not. And I like I said, I don't even want them doing it if it's last game of the season and it's a dead rubber. Play your squad players then, because at least they've been training. I won't mind to put out a squad player, someone who's got a couple of appearances, and fine by all means, try and get some players in the shop window, but also go for the preparation that you're in a position where winning results elsewhere could potentially they could take Bournemouth up a couple of places. And for the greatest respect to Bournemouth, an extra 6 million in the kitty is going to do them the world of good than not having that 6 million. So I hope it's an okay squad and it's not flooded with kids when they get there, because it tarnishes.
In fairness, he's also come out, and this is where you read what you want to and you believe what you want to. AFC Bournemouth boss Gary O'Neill has said his team will suffer and sacrifice to get a win against Everton on Sunday. Now, he said that on the 17th to the 23rd of May. I've got 3 dates here. They were updating it, obviously, the Mercury. So you pay your money, I suppose. You believe what you want to believe, don't you?
Yeah.
Can they do it? Oh, we go. Then he sorry, that was the one. Then he came out and said on the 8th, between the 15th and 25th, Bournemouth Gary O'Neill makes £200 million point that could impact on Leicester City and Everton battle. Leicester City hopes of survival and depending on Bournemouth getting a result at Everton to stay in the Premier League. With safety earned, the reward to Bournemouth now is that each position they finish up the table is set to be worth more than £2 million. So victory over Everton could bag them as much as £6 million. However, O'Neill has made the point that staying in the Premier League next season will be worth around £200 million, and so has suggested he may make slight tweaks to his side as they look to get a head start and preparing for the next campaign.
See, again, it's choice words that piss me off of journalism, because that says to me that what he's saying is fairly strong side, but some players that I want to either get rid of or at least put in the market to potentially loan them out and get them playing first team football, I'm going to put in. So it might be some players that have come back from injury. I mean, I know, and it's a tremendous thing for him. Was it David Brooke or Harry Brooke? I believe he's called. I know it's Brooke is his last name, but he played for Bournemouth in their last game, and it was his first appearance in 600 odd days because he'd battled from cancer, I believe. So maybe they're the sort of changes he's in turn about will play. I don't mind if it's a squad player that comes in. That's what I don't mind, because I understand that to a degree, that you don't potentially want somebody getting injured and it's your only chance to really showcase some of your squad players that you may be looking to move on, because they'll want to showcase themselves.
Is the argument, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, is the argument maybe from Bournemouth's point of view, well, Leicester, you got yourself into this shit. You shouldn't be relying on us on the last game. And it is a very fair point.
Yeah, it is, and it's a case of you can't have one rule for one and not the other. You can't turn around to Everton, Tottenham, and I know Tottenham have something to fight for, so it's a little bit different. But you know what I mean? You can't turn around to them and say, you're not allowed to pick a weakened side, but Southampton, Liverpool, although you could just say Southampton is a weak side in general this season because of how badly they've performed. But you know what I mean? You can't say, you guys have got nothing to play for, but so if you want to play your under-21s, that's fine. No, you'd have to keep it consistent. And I don't know if there's a way to do it, but I suppose what you could say is no under-21 players could feature in your match. You know, if they've not been registered to the squad, they can't be featured in your match day squad. I don't know, but it's
I don't know the actual
pulling it.
rules on that, but like I say, in fairness, we shouldn't have to rely on another team to try and dig us out the poo. And it's our own fault that we're in there, and we shouldn't have let it get to this point. So,
Yeah, of course.
I can kind of see what Gary's saying. Why should he doesn't give a shit whether it's Everton, Leeds, or Leicester. All he's bothered
No, of
about
course
is
it
the
isn't.
Bournemouth that stayed up. So fair play to him for that. But what are you going to go for in this game?
I'm gonna go.
I'm going to agree with told you before.
Are you?
He's come up within a minute.
Okay, well, I can't see the comments, as you know. So if we pick the same air, we pick the same.
Exactly.
I'm going to go, based on how I've envisioned the game going, and I mean our game going,
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Everton 0. So we're safe already. I'm going to put it in the right section. I nearly did it in the wrong section there. I'm going to go for Everton 0, Bournemouth 2.
Wow. Okay. That is a very, 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 very brave prediction. Just say it again.
Everton 0, Bournemouth 2.
You serious?
Are you?
Yeah. I'm going on the premise of, and I've mentioned this in discussions to our game. If things go the way I feel they're going to go for us in our game, I think Everton crumble under the pressure and they'll concede a sloppy goal and they won't recover, and then Bournemouth will get a later goal just to really kill them off when Leicester get their goals.
The fact that we got the point against Newcastle, I was trying to get this over to David the other day, and I don't know whether it worked or not, but it has put that little bit of extra pressure on Everton. Because
it has, because they can't just play for the draw.
No, so they've got to go for it. Now it's at Goodison, which is going to work in their favour. All the three teams at home, weirdly, but you might just see Bournemouth, scraping something, hitting them on the break. Bournemouth have actually won four of the last 6 meetings. Everton have only won one, and there's one draw. And earlier in the season, it was Bournemouth 3, Frank Lampard 0. Now, they haven't got Scott Parker at Bournemouth. They haven't got Frank Lampard at Everton. At home, on home form, Everton are 18th. Just one place below Bournemouth, funnily enough. On away form, Bournemouth are 13th. Bournemouth on away have won 3 of their last 4 away games. They lost their last one, but before that they won 3 of them. At home, Everton have lost the last 3. On that basis, I did say that I was going to agree with somebody, and I am going to go and agree with somebody, and it was, I forget who it was, now told you. I'm going 1-1. A second draw.
He's going for the nervy.
Yes, I am. True Red has gone 2-1 to Bournemouth. Love you, True. Chris Welsh, I don't like you, Chris. Don't like you at all. I hope Carlisle crash and burn in the playoff final. Hey, I jest, mate. It's banter. Come on. Who are they playing? Come on, whoever they're playing. He's got Everton 1, Bournemouth 0. I am getting a bit of feedback again, mate. Kate has gone 2-1 to Bournemouth. I'm loving Kate. I'm loving it. Colonel is in. Good evening, Colonel. He's gone Everton lose 2-1. And again, that's another fine gentleman that comes into the show. And Mike Green is in. Good evening. Hope you're well, Mike. Don't like Mike either. He's gone 2-0 to these. It's the Welsh, isn't it? It's the Welsh, And he's a Welsh Man United fan. What is there to like about him? He said, I'm going to that playoff final Sunday. Oh, is that the Carlisle one? Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it. And good luck to Carlisle. Good luck to Carlisle. Right, so we are 2 games in, and the third one is, and it's just the way that this, but it's the Google that have put in this order. Leeds United hosting Tottenham. Tottenham, like I said, are going for Europe. As if Brighton can beat Villa, Villa on 58th at the moment in 7th. Tottenham are in 8th on 57, just to confuse me. Tottenham have lost their last 2 games, though. They lost to Brentford at home and they lost to Villa away. Before that, they did beat Palace 1-0, but it's their only win in their last 5. And on the other hand, Leeds haven't won in 5. Now, the thing that surprised me was I was on a show last night, very, very late. It was 11:30 and it was recorded for TalkSport with Paul Ross, who is Jonathan's brother. He does the Through the Night show. And he had an Everton, Leeds and myself on talking about the relegation fight. He's a West Ham fan, but apart from that, he's a nice guy. And it was a case of what would you want from the other clubs? And they're all naming players. And he came to me and I said, I would like to have the bottle that those 2 teams have shown in recent games, because up till Newcastle, we had no fizz. We were just as flat as they come, and we couldn't battle our way out of a condom. And yet I looked at on Craig, the Bournemouth fans video. He did the same, and he had a Leeds fan on, and she said, "I wish I could get Leicester and Everton's battle in." For, and I'm thinking, have you watched Leicester this season? But Brad, we need that from our team, but I think Leeds could sneak something here.
Well, yeah, they're playing Dr. Spursy, so they've got the second best doctor in the English Football League right now, because Leicester aside, they're the ones that are always giving. The biggest problem is they're waiting on 2 results, aren't they? Yes, they can't. They're in the same situation as us in a little bit in the case of win and results go away, we can stay up. But you're asking 2 teams to fail at their job, and while it's still plausible, Everton could lose to Bournemouth, we could lose to West Ham, and they could win and stay up. Even then, if Everton only lose 1-0 and they only win 1-0, it's not good enough. They need goal swing. I think Carl said it on our show, didn't he, Chris? That they need to lose 3-0, and then Everton would need to win 2-0 or something like that. Whatever. It needs a goal swing for them, and this all depends. And I said it on Doug's prediction show, and I said it on here. This all depends on what happens elsewhere, I feel, because as much as they could get going and get an early goal and be 1-0 up, if Leicester are 1 or 2-0 up at half time, or Everton are drawing or 1-0 up. Well, but I'm just trying to think, if that happens, or even if Leicester and Everton are 0-0 going into half time, you're still then sat there going, well, we're down. And if Tottenham try and come back into it, and then you feel the pressure because you're trying to hold on to a lead, but I don't know. I'll say it just to be Leicester optimistic. Leicester get a goal just before half time, so not only are Everton drawing, but Leicester are winning. So you're down, and it's looking more and more impossible for them to stay up. The deflation around Ellen Road will affect the players. So unless the results start going their way early, I just don't think Leeds have that mentality to go at it. And you look at the last game, it was almost Fulham-esque for us, if you will. They had it in the palm of their hands. They had a West Ham team that were on the beach. They were more interested in Europe than they were the league. They were hoping. They were 1-1, lost the game 3-1. So, as Spursy as it is, it would also be just as Spursy at the end of the season to cock it up for Leeds, to give them no chance. Just when you're thinking, out of all the teams to bottle it and throw it away, you want to play is probably Spurs. This is where I think Spurs will just... I think something's going to happen in one of our games, one of the other 2 games, that will affect Leeds mentally. So I'm going for Leeds United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 3. There's too, they're asking too much to keep their momentum and spirit going throughout the 90 minutes, I feel.
Wow. Okay. I've got something exciting for the end of the show, by the way. Okay, so let me have a look at this. Which way do I think this is going to go? You just don't know which Spurs is going to turn up, do you? Like you say, you know, we know they've had a bad season and they can turn up and they can put 5 past you. This is, for me, this is probably the hardest one for me to predict. Let's have a look what the form says. I mean, I'm surprised Tottenham are as high as they still are, to be honest with you. Oh, let me just... Oh, no, you've done it. Thank you very much. I really am, with the sort of season that they've had. But they have won 4 of the last 6 of these. Leeds have won 2. I mean, the last time Leeds went down to 10 men back on the 12th of November, and Tottenham won it 4-3. Leeds are 19th in the overall form table. They're 16th at home in the form table, and Tottenham are 10th in the away table. Tottenham have not won in the last 6 away games, which is very Spursy. But then again, Leeds have only won 1 in the last 6 at home. You can almost imagine this is going to be 0-0 and last on match of the day. But Harry Kane is in there, and as annoying as he is when he's not playing for England, he does get the goals. He is on fire. Had it not been for Haaland, we know what he would have won. To me, I'm going to say something completely Michael Owen-ish here, because this could go one of 3 ways. Leeds could win it, Tottenham could win it, or it could be a draw. How Michael Owen-y is that? Covering myself on all angles. But I'm going to be... I'm going to go 1-1. Again, I know it's a third draw and I'm chickening out. I so want to say that Leeds can... And I would have... before this show, I was actually thinking 2-1 to Leeds. But I just... Looking at their home form, they've only won 1 of the last 6. And they're supposed to be this super amazing club at home. So I'm going to go for my third draw. It's like I'm working in the underwear department at M&S, isn't it? Full of draws. Let's have a look what people are saying in the chat. Colonel says he's going 3-3. Neither team can defend. I could see that, Colonel. I could. Mike's gone, well, it seems the way I was thinking, 0-0. Chris has gone 2-1 to Leeds. Oh, Hella, good evening, Hella. How are you? Yeah, do not mention it, Hella. Do not mention it. Otherwise, I will just remind you of how many points Norway gave to Finland in the Eurovision. You should hang your head in shame for that. Told you's gone 2-2. Hella, I think Spurs are going to lose. They're shit. Just don't sit on the fence, Hella. Just come out and say what you think, you know. Luke has gone 3-0 to Spurs. Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Everton currently on 33 points, so if they lose or Leeds, Leicester just to win. Hella has gone 2-1 to Leeds, which was my other thought. So, yeah, I've forgotten what I've gone for now. Was it 1-1 I went for in the end?
Yes, you did.
I did. Right, next up then. So we've somehow got our 2 games out of the way quite quickly. Meaningless one here, but Brentford hosting Manchester City.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because you could argue maybe Man City having nothing to play for is a strange effect. They're used to going two goals down on the last game of the season and then dramatically winning the title in the last 15 minutes, aren't they, Chris? They did it against Villa. They did it infamously against QPR. But this year it's a bit weird for them because they've won it with like 3 games to go, which is something you didn't see them doing even when they were catching Arsenal's lead at the top. But Brentford have proven that they can still get the results. They'll want to end their season on a high as possible. And I think Man City is the only team that could probably change their entire 11 and still have about 300 million out on the pitch, and you wouldn't notice the difference in terms of talent to a degree. And this sounds like a shock, but I don't think it will be with what I'm going to go for here. And I'm going to go for my first Desmond. I'm going 2-2.
Oh, you've gone for a draw.
I have, because I just think Brentford at home, Man City's wrapped the title up. They'll play the Carlton Palmer, the youngster they've got. I mean, they could play Carlton Palmer and still win the league.
That midfield maestro who plays alongside Junior Lewis.
Yeah. They'll play the youngsters. They'll give that 12-minute man, Calvin Phillips, a run out. Bless him. They'll play these up-and-coming players. I'm sure Haaland will play, and that's where I think Man City might get a few goals. But I don't think overall they'll be at their strongest. They've got a Champions League final to go and bottle or potentially actually upset the apple cart and win, and an FA Cup final that's way more important to them than Brentford, with great respect, because they've got nothing to fight for. They've won the league. So I think Brentford will be up and fighting for it. They're at home. I nearly went 3-2 Brentford. I'll be kicking myself if they win the game 3-2 now, but I just held back on giving Brentford a win, and that's why I've gone 2-2.
Yeah, at the moment, I mean, we joked earlier on about, we've taken this to the last game of the season where Arsenal haven't been able to. But Man City are just a juggernaut, aren't they? I mean, they're just, I don't know why we doubted them and thought they were out of it,
I never did. Thank you very much. I think
Well,
you find at the start of the season I said they'd win the league and still stood by it. So shame. Get the bells out, people. Shame. Shame.
I'm going to walk down Full High Street naked tomorrow. Thing is that I did predict Manchester City to win it at the start of the season, but do not ask me about the rest of the predictions. That was miles off. Piers Morgan has called Arsenal bottlers. 8 points clear with 8 games to go. But look, I mean, last time out, Man City, they got the draw with Brighton. Good game by all accounts. I didn't see it. Brentford, they're 9th. They've not lost. They've only lost 1 in the last 5, and that was to Liverpool. Last time out, they beat Tottenham. Well, who hasn't? That's something even we can say. I feel sorry for Brentford because I don't think they're going to get Europe. Although if Villa lose and Spurs lose, they could. So they are still in with a chance of it. I can't go for a 4th draw, can I? So I'm actually going to go for 2-1 Man City. There we go. And can I just say to anybody that if you are affected by any of the issues in tonight's show, please contact the Samaritans, because if Everton fans are in and Leeds fans are in and any Leicester fans, we're all feeling the nerves. Tomorrow's Sunday's watch along, I should say, is coming live from my bathroom. There we go. What have we got here? Luke's gone 1-1. Hella has gone 3-1 Brentford. Ooh, fabulous at home. I know, I just think Man City want to go out with a bang, don't they? Ready for the Champions League final. They want to put a marker down. On Haaland, he pops up with the odd goal every now and again, doesn't he? But anyway, when his dad's not behaving, of course. Brentford 2, Man City 1 says, told ya. Chris, at least I paid for my own ticket to Belfast. I don't know what he's going on about there, but Colonel's gone. Hope City get battered. 6-0, hate them. Again, don't like people that sit on the fence, Colonel. Fair point. And he has gone 1-1 as Chris between Brentford and Manchester City. Okay, Brad, up next, Manchester United, and I suppose we do have to congratulate them on getting into the Champions League, which I think was probably more than most of them thought. They won't admit it, but I think they weren't expecting Champions League this season. New manager, rebuilding the process. All the trouble with he who must not be mentioned, but he's getting paid a fortune in Saudi Arabia now at the start of the season. They have done well, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I think their post World Cup form, where Rashford became the new Messi reincarnated with his form. If you ask any Man United fans, he was he was on fire. He was worth 400 million, and he was going to get the Golden Boot and chase Haaland down the way they were delusionally looking at it at some points. But credit to them, they've kept the form going. They've rebounded when they've stuttered a little bit, and they deserved it in the end. They were more consistent from start to finish throughout the season. Liverpool, we talk about having that good run where they've won 7 on the bounce, but that horrid start or first quarter, if you will, is really what did the damage to them. So, it also helps when Chelsea become, Frank Lampard desperately tried to get 2 teams relegated this season, aren't in that mix, because you feel if they actually sign a midfielder that could score, they'd be dangerous this season, Chelsea, and they'd have been up there. So it comes with a little bit of fortune, but like you've said about other previous teams for different reasons, it ain't their problem what other teams are doing right or wrong. So I kind of wanted, and I did, and elsewhere I have been a bit more braver, but I did say I won't be as brave on this because there's something on the line, i.e. I get to be smug for another year. I'd love to see a Mitrovic revenge mission in this game. But Man United going into it, it's at home, it's before the FA Cup. Will they do what everybody else is expecting them to do at that stage and not play the stars and they'll concentrate fully on trying to stop Man City's treble, which again, Man United fans, don't worry. Their treble, if they do it, is nowhere near as impressive as 99. I've already asked and answered that question, as you'd say in court.
Yeah.
And I think
Fulham would have been in court. I wouldn't know.
I know. I've just watched enough court shows to learn. That's where my brain comes. That's what makes me sound smarter than what I am. I think they can.
Nobody tell him.
No, don't. Tell me what exactly. There you go. Who said that? I'm not crazy. It's just the voices in my head. Anyway, as much as I'd like to see a revenge mission from Mitrovic, I think he'll score in this game. But I think Manchester United are just going to edge it, and I'm going 2-1 to Manchester United.
Yeah. This was recently played, the earlier game in the season. Obviously 3-1, and Fulham lost the manager and Mitrovic in that game. I don't blame Man United for it at all. I mean, if a player can't control himself and is that ridiculous, whatever the referee decides. And it's funny, I was actually talking to somebody the other day, and do you remember Leicester in the Europa League, I believe it was, we had an all-female referee and linesman collective, whatever you want to call them, officials. And there was absolutely no crowd in the referee, no arguing with the referee, showing some respect to the referee. Maybe if Mitrovic, should maybe go into the women's game and maybe learn some manners. So yeah, and that ruined their season. And I think the fact that Fulham haven't got the Premier League, haven't got European football next season, they should put all the blame on Mitrovic. I hope Manchester United do the double on them. I I think if you talk to the real Man United fans, and I'm not saying that they're not all real, but you know what I'm saying, not the ones that were born before Alex Ferguson took over, that are more realistic and understand that, it wasn't always successful for them. They literally have understood that this season needed to be a rebuild. And it's not been easy, and they've got the takeover in there as well. Ten Hag's stuck by his job. I can't see, and I don't mind Fulham, and I'd love to have seen Fulham go on, whether it be Fulham, Brentford, or Brighton, and do well and get into Europe, etc. At home, Manchester United are second in the league on form. They have won their last 5 at home. Away, Fulham have somehow managed to get 2 wins, but they've also got 4 losses. And the last win was against, I shall tell you in a second, Southampton. So maybe we shouldn't read too much into that. Or maybe we should, because they're a great team, because we couldn't beat them. Twice. We had 2 attempts and we still couldn't beat them. So, yeah, I am going to go 3-1 Man United. And don't let me down, because every time I've gone for Man United win, they've let me down. But, yeah, I think Man United have got this one. Hella said I had them in 5th, and that's a Man United fan. Hella says... got 2 more injuries last night. Fulham played the academy. Of course, you played last night, didn't you? Good morning, guys. Hi, Jeff in the Philippines. How the devil are you? Thought show was starting at 9 p.m. My catch-up scores, they're just going on with these. Our shows have been starting at 9, Jeff. Due to join in with the show that's going out at 9 o'clock on Sunday, because we are going to be announcing all the changes for next season. We're literally just waiting to see where we're going to be playing, because that will affect what we do next season. But there's a lot of changes, and one of them is sort of the times of the shows. So stick with us for that one. Sunday at 9. Entertaining 2-2 draw, says Colonel. Typical end of season fare. Told you has gone. Wow, he's gone for his 4-2 Man United. That's going to be number 1 on Match of the Day, no matter what happens at the bottom, isn't it? Chris Welsh has gone 2-1 to Man United, and Luke has gone 2-0 to Man United. Although I am sure that they'll be showing all 3 games. What Man United, what Match of the Day do, don't they? They show the first, a couple of minutes of one, then a couple of minutes of the other. So it'll all be very, very confusing. Probably just because I'm old as well. Next up, Brad, talk to me about Chelsea and Newcastle. Chelsea hosting Newcastle.
This is going to be absolutely hilarious. This is going to be so funny. This is going to be an absolute battering. Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea. Oh, dear. Oh. Sorry, I was just thinking of a really funny joke and how it ends with Frank Lampard in charge of Chelsea for a second time. And then I realised it wasn't a joke, it's actually happened. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. We've got to go out and do everything against Man U there. It's the biggest game. We have to try and stop them getting Champions League football. Well done, Frank. Well done, mate. See how that worked out for you. But the thing is, Newcastle are Champions League, right? They did that with a very, very impressive draw against the Giants elite of Leicester City on the Monday. I just don't know if Eddie Howe is going to take that approach of get some people out there on the shop window, rest my big stars. They don't have any cup game to go at the end of the season. I think it's you've got some players in there that won't want to be dropped because I want to play every week. I don't really think, to be fair to him, that Newcastle have what you'd class as a weakened side to the greatest degree, because like I said, I can't see the likes of Trippier not wanting to play. I can't see the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, or if a commentator. This is what annoys me, Chris. Why is it commentators feel the need and urgency to sound really fancy when they pronounce a name? Because it's like Guimaraes, and then it's Guimaraes, then it's Guimaraes. Shush, 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 shush. It's like, who's got too much saliva in the mouth?
The best one is Tillemans.
Oh yeah, it's like, sorry, I put my Molken in, and his name is Tillemans, not Tillerman. No, it's Tillemans, you tit. I don't get where. I know, but for some reason now they've started saying the word Guimaraes, which even in any language I've always been told is pronounced Guimaraes because that's how it's spelled. But now it's Guimaraes. It's like the Bruno Fernandes thing. It's like, no, mate, your name's Fernandez. Stop calling. Why would you want to be known as a flange, you tit? I don't understand it. But that aside, I mean,
hang on, flange you tit 105.
I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. I mean, this bizarreness goes way back, but we're here all night with me talking. I'm just going to get it out of the way. Chelsea aren't scoring, so that's 0 for Chelsea, and Newcastle are scoring 4.
4. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I can't understand why they took Lampard back. I've got to be honest with you. Apparently, and I've said this before, how true it is, I don't know, but James Corden, who knows Bowley, recommended him. I think he's a West Ham fan, Corden. I think he was going like, I got away with that one, lads. Look, they took him. Oh, I mean, what a joke. I mean, that guy has taken, and whatever you say about Abramovich, taking his Russian connection out of it. Yes, he liked to hire and fire. We've had people like that. Milan Mandrić, we went through a few managers under him. But he had they had Chelsea's well-being at heart. And yes, they spent a lot of money. But those top 6 all have been. I think you said something earlier in the season, Brad, and it did stick with me, but it was about Spurs, that they are the club that just keep on giving. Well, I think Chelsea are actually pushing them to a very close second this season. I mean, for somebody to come in, take over, appoint the job to somebody who has never managed at that level, but fair play to him. He wanted to try an English manager. He wanted to try going down that avenue, but then not allowing him to choose the players he wanted. In fact, he would go out and pick the players that he wanted. Have that many players in, it made Nottingham Forest look like they've got a sparse squad. He has turned Chelsea into a laughingstock, because when you spend that much money, and we always say having the money to spend doesn't guarantee anything. Well, you can hold Chelsea up this season for that example. They are a joke, and I'm sorry if there's any Chelsea fans looking in. You can take the piss out of Leicester if we get relegated all you want to, because it comes to all teams. And let's be honest with you, pre Abramovich and what was the idiot that had owned it before then, you were in the second tier. But take the piss out of us, but we ain't as funny as you and Spurs. 2 London clubs there that are completely just living in la la land. And I've gone 3-0 to Newcastle after all that. But I just think they are, Chelsea, a total joke. And for that reason, I do hope Newcastle stuff them. I really, really do. Let's have a look at what people have been saying in the chat. I think most people are agreeing with us, believe it or not, Brad. Hella has gone 4-1 to Newcastle. Chelsea to score first. True Red's gone 1-0 Newcastle. Chris Welsh has gone somewhere. I've lost him. Where are you, Chris? There you go. Chris Welsh has gone Newcastle 4-0. He's agreed with you. Told you said, I'm at work on Sunday from 6. That's a long shift. Going to miss the game and the watch along will be a nervy afternoon for everybody. Listen via YouTube podcasts, told you. YouTube do podcasts now. Have it in your ear. Have it in your ear. But I suppose if you're to near clinic, that probably wouldn't be much use, would it? But Colonel says, hope Chelsea get pumped 8-0. Ew, that would be funny, actually. 2-0 to Newcastle, says, told you. Jeff, I will give you my other scores as follows. Oh, he's off. He's not hanging about, Jeff, is he? Bloody hell. Nice you to pop in. Chelsea 2, Newcastle 2, says Leon. Whoa. When you and Geordie fan on the show, please send Everton down. But mate, if between now and Sunday, you can maybe slip us a couple of players with some plastic surgery so they look like Vardy and Maddison and Tielemans, but we could, they could be your players. We might just do that for you. Other than that, I don't think we will. Chelsea are pants, indeed. This OR star squad, but we ain't even that. Hi, Chris. Anthony, how are you? A bit drunk. Oh, what you been up to today? Don't like that. He's been on the old cider. That's what he's done. Newcastle 2-0, says Jeff. Don't really want to talk about this game, but we're going to have to, Brad. Leicester City hosting West Ham United. Oh, go on. It's all yours.
Well, it is exactly what it is. We're in shit creek, and until we turned up at Newcastle, we didn't even have a paddle. But you know what? My motto is expect the worst, and you'll be more surprised when something else happens. So if I go into Sunday, which I'm going to, with the mentality that we've had a fun 8 years in the Premier League, and we'll look back at all the things we've won in our time there. And, if it all goes wrong on the pitch, it all goes wrong. You can't say we don't deserve it over the 38 games because we haven't done enough to stay up. But there's no point stopping and stranging. Let's cut down to brass tacks, Chris, because, you already know what I've predicted. Leicester, due to Everton's inability.
How rude!
I know Leicester are like a smelly burp. There you go. No, due to Everton's failure to be able to beat Bournemouth on the last day of the season, West Ham will take a seat. They'll sit down and they'll allow Leicester to score 2 wonderful goals as Leicester keep their second clean sheet in a row to end the season on the best high they could hope for. And it'll finish Leicester City 2, West Ham United 0. And don't worry, the check's in the post, West Ham, because that's how we had the deal that if you do that for us and we stay up, you get to win the Europa League conference. So that's how it's going. Cheers, Jeff. Check's bank account for payment. No worries, Harry. Cheers to you and all.
If anybody knows a Everton fan that is available tomorrow at 1:00 to do a very short show with myself, another Leicester fan, and not you for this time, Brad, I'm giving you the day off, and a Leeds fan, because and I have been to about 15 bloody Everton fans, and now whether they're saying this or whether they just don't want to talk about it, but they're at weddings, they're away. I mean, God, they're too scared to come on and talk about Everton. I don't know. But if anybody knows an Everton fan, message them now saying, are you free at 1:00 on Saturday? If so, get them to message me tonight, and we'll get them on. I'm dreading this game. Totally and utterly dreading this game. It's not. I mean, can you imagine? It would be so Leicester to go and win it, but then Everton win at Bournemouth, or against Bournemouth. That would just be typical Leicester. Look, whatever happens, and I'm trying to convince myself it's not the end of the world. I like Brad, remember when going down to League One, and as sad as that was at the time, and that really did hurt. Like this season, it was coming. It's not like it suddenly happened and we've lost the last 5. At the start, we've not been out that bloody bottom relegation fight all season, and we know whys and wherefores, and you can't really, in fairness, blame one single person.
Bell end.
But I can. I love that. I'm going to do it again. I don't give a shit.
Bell end.
Yes. I love it. In fact, just if I'm doing that for me, I'm just going to have to do this for Brad. I'm sorry, but guys, I'm just going to have to do it. Yes. I need to make do one of those without the goal on, just to do it. Although having said that, he might not be with us next season. I'm so scared, but we've had an amazing run, haven't we, Brad? We had a record-breaking promotion year, 102 points. We broke virtually every record that we held as a club. Our away wins, our goals scored. We did the Great Escape. We then accidentally went and won the Premier League, and we were trying to avoid relegation the season before. We got through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League, even though Arsene Wenger said we'd embarrass English football. 10-2 Arsene. And then we won the FA Cup. We won the Community Shield. We've been in Europe 2 consecutive seasons, a European semi-final. It's not been a bad ride, and I've shared that with my son. That's something I never thought of, but I'm forgetting that this is a prediction show here, and I need to give a prediction. Brad knows what I've gone for here. I've gone for 2-1 to Leicester, more in hope than anything. And I've got to say, Brad went 2-0, I went 2-1. Craig went 3-1. Jerry Taggart went 1-1. And if he is wrong and I am right, I overtake him in the Xbox Prediction League. So the double is on for me. But then Ian Marshall, Ian Wilson, Steve Lynex, and Steve Walsh all went 2-1 as well. So 2-1 is the most popular score. And of course, if it is 2-1, and my other prediction is right, we stay up. God, I'm nervous. Can you get nappies for adults? Is that possible?
Yeah, you can.
It's not just me being kinky then.
Well, I mean, maybe it is. Yeah, I don't know, but you can get the adult diapers.
And how would you know? Let's not go there. Oh, sorry. When I say, how would you know how to get my adult diapers? There is, of course, an obvious reason. There we go. Right. Look, I'm getting them all. This will be the last time this season I'll be playing most of these. Anyway, Hella, love that girl. She's gone 2-1 to Leicester. West Ham, yeah, I mean, that is the one. I wish they were playing it sooner than 10 days' time, but there we go. Winnie Wynn's gone 3-1 to Leicester. Big Ant, who's had a few San Miguel's, but he says it's worth it. He's in luck tonight then with the missus in his few beers first. Love you, Ant. He's gone 2-1 to Leicester. Ella says, cheers, Brad. That was when you burped, wasn't it? Chris Welsh has gone Leicester 1, West Ham 0. Told you it has gone 3-1 to Leicester. Anthony, Brad has had a few beers. Yeah, well, at least it came up that end, guys. True has gone 3-1 to Leicester. Jeff said he's still here. After checking chat, I have games in a different order. Typical, Jeff, typical. You've obviously been on the whiskey. Leicester to win 3-1 and to stay up. Leon has gone Leicester 2, West Ham 1. Colonel's gone Leicester, draw, but you'll get promoted right away with Leeds and even Southampton as you, yeah. But it's a case of how many we're keeping, though. That's the thing. Mike's gone 1-1. Winnie Win. nailed on Leicester win, but will it be enough? You know Leicester, mate. You know Leicester. Super Sunday, yes, indeed. Don't forget the watch along. We will be covering the main game, Leicester, but we will be keeping an eye on the other games as well. I just stood up and realised I'm a bit drunk. What is it? What is it with everybody tonight? I'm on water here, guys. I'm on water. What is everybody celebrating? Or maybe they're just trying to get too drunk so they can't remember whatever happens at the football this weekend. Although my prediction result in Leicester staying up, I've been resigned to relegation for some weeks, so feel relaxed for the game. I almost wish, I don't know about you, Brad, I almost wish like we were down.
No, I certainly don't wish that. I certainly don't wish we were down.
Yeah, I don't wish we
Well,
were down.
I kind of get the contents and how you mean it. Like, if we knew where we were, we'd be more relaxed. But I've been very much like Jeff. A few people have asked me how's your nerves. And I'm like, I'm like, well, I accepted it. I'll admit this. I accepted that we weren't going to be a Premier League club after 48 minutes in the Fulham game. I was like, okay, that's it. We're done. We're dead. We're buried. Fairs. The race is run. And it wasn't, weren't no Garinda speech about me not going because I'd still support them. Like you said, Chris, I remember and was a season ticket holder during the League One days. So it was just more of a case of, you know what? I'm done letting this club stress me out. We'll build again next season and we'll come back even stronger. Not necessarily next season, but we will come back to the Premier League if we do get relegated next season. So, yeah, like Jeff says, if we stay up, absolutely buzzing. Bonus. It'll be easier for us to rebuild and we'll be a little bit more desirable than we would be as a championship club to still bring some players in for that rebuild. So, yeah.
Winnie Win says here, if Leicester stay up, how do things change? I mean, when we went down to League One, I still say, and I've said, and I've said this many times, it was a step backwards to take 2 or 3 forward in my eyes. I don't think we'd have done what we'd done over the last 9 seasons if we hadn't gone down. That said, if we stay up, we're still going to lose a lot of the players. There's 7 players that could be playing at the weekend that will not even be with us next season because the contracts are expired. Unfortunately, Vestergaard's not one of them. Can you imagine if he ends up in the first name on the team sheet? 'Cause it's all we've got. If we stay up, does it kind of just paper over the cracks?
No, yeah, yes and no. Like I don't think you can really say it papers over the cracks dramatically in the sense of it's not like last season where we went on that awful run and then we won the last 4 games and it papered over. That 8th place was a very false position where we were with them last 4 or 5 games to go when we won them all. And I don't think too much would change, but I just think because I think this season we've seen players show their true colours and who's really committed to the club. And we've seen it in the likes of maybe names we didn't expect to see it in, like Samare, like Mendy, like Johnny Evans when he's been fit to play, like Soyuncu, which bellend, absolute bellend, because that further backs the point that maybe if we'd have sacked him earlier in the season and Dean Smith started playing him like from the off like he has done, we'd be talking about Soyuncu probably staying and being a Leicester player for next season. I think the only thing it changes, right, is I don't think it changes too much the idea of whoever's in charge next season in terms of managerial. Oh, I'm feeling another burp. Oh, excuse me.
Let me mute you. Too late.
Oh, too late. I've already deflated. But no, I think the only thing it changes is, and I'm going to use a January transfer sort of as an example, a rumour. Well, it wasn't even a rumour. It nearly happened. And I know he signed a new deal, but I just think if we stay up and some players, Madison, Harvey Barnes, showing their true colours and the fact that when the tough comes in, they get going. Yeah, when the going's got tough this season, the so-called tough players are starting to look at their new teams they're trying to impress, and I think that's when you maybe Jack Harrison signed a new deal because he wants to give Leeds more money if they go down, and he's an asset to them, and he gets that. So do Leeds a favour. I've got a big contract, so at least if someone wants me in the Championship, they're going to have to pay 30, 40 million for me, or whatever it is Leeds valued him at. Because we were getting him for a little bit of a cut price had he gone through in January, let's face it. And I think if we stay up, he makes the move to Leicester potentially still in the summer, because I don't see us doing a deal with Katey. What are the odds of one Brazilian we get through the door and he turns out to be a bag of absolute shite, sadly. But you know what I mean? And I think if you go down, I think if you go down, you don't get them players. You know what I mean? I think then the rebuild doesn't become less difficult, but you're hunting in a different area for them players. You're not able to pick up a 3 or 4 gems and that, because they'll be looking to play in the Premier League next season. And
I must admit, I don't begrudge Maddison moving on. I don't begrudge Barnes moving on, because neither of them are Leicester lads. So to them it's just a job, and we have to accept that. You know, you can say, "Oh well, Leicester gave him the chance." Well, the place that gave me my first manager's job, I didn't stay. I moved on to a better manager's job. They have no loyalty. I don't like Tielemans because he hasn't. We're going to lose him, and he knew what he was doing. He's cost us money. What annoys me with all of those players is not turning up for games, and I don't just mean the fact that we lost the odd game here or there. When they've played games, they have stunk. They've stunk more than one of your burps, and that's what annoys me about them. You know, but no, I'll say good luck to them, but I wouldn't mean it. But Arsenal Wolves, Arsenal. Let's just have a let's ask the Arsenal. Let's ask the audience. What do you think about Arsenal? Sorry, Ant, if you're still in. Which way do you see this going, Brad?
See, I'm going to use my resourceful information like you normally do, because you know how normally me and Steve give a prediction, and then all of a sudden you go and reel off a load of stats that make us regret our life choices. Well, I'm going to reveal something that might help you in your decision making, because as hilarious as Arsenal's bottle job's been this season, had I not known the information that I've been afforded to know, I would probably go for Wolves winning this game, because Arsenal are hilariously bad and keep falling apart at the sign of any sort of decent football. And I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, because I will get it wrong. The Wolves manager apparently has been told his job is uncertain for whatever reasons. There is certain situations in terms of their players and their managerial things that aren't set in stone for next season, that after all the kiss chasing they did to try and get him in and out, he won't get the demands he's making for next season, so he's questioning whether he wants to stay at them. There's a few players talking about being elsewhere next season already. I said it's very strange, and I never ever like it, and I think if I'm a manager, I would have it as a red flag. Ruben Neves, and I'm not saying he shouldn't have aspirations to play. Of course he should. But when you've still got a game to go this season, right, forget the fact that Wolves technically, both clubs have nothing to play for the season, right, at this point, don't come out on national TV and say, I want to play Champions League football. I've always had that ambition. So I'm sure when you signed for Wolves, you made that clear that they'd have to compete for European football to keep you around. And if they're not going to do that, you're going to want to go elsewhere. But why do that on national telly? Why come out and say that on national telly? I don't like it. And if I'm the manager, the first thing I'm doing up is I'm giving a flash warning to every club out there that's in Champions League. You want him, come and get him, because I don't want this sort of attitude at my club anymore. If you're going to go out on national telly and willingly admit that you're basically saying to you, Wolves, you didn't get European football, so off I jog, see you later, thanks very much. and kind of knowing that, and the question marks heavily linked over his defence, I'm going to shock everybody. Despite the horrid form and miserable time at Arsenal, Anthony's going to fall off his stool due to alcohol and what I'm about to say here. This is going to be one of them crazy end of the season score lines. I think they did something similar to Everton, so I'm going to say this: Arsenal 5, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
It hasn't changed my mind because I was going for an Arsenal win anyway.
Oh, bloody hell!
Well, Wolves, I mean, one loss drawn. You know, it's a case of right leg in, left leg out, shake it all about for Wolves. They haven't had a very good season at all. Arsenal, they're at home. They've got something to prove. You know, they have thrown it away, and it's given all the Arteta out fans a reason to come out the woodwork again and say, I told you so, and all that. But yeah, I think they're at home and they want to go out with a bit of a bang and show the fans. You know, the players will want to show the fans that they are you know, worth being there. But I am going to go. You went 5, didn't you? I'm going to go 3. 3-0 to Arsenal.
Ha ha ha! I've tricked you. You should have realised it. I've lured him into a trap, folks. Because every time I've gone 5-0, I kid you not, every time I've gone 5-0, it's ended 4-1. And he had the chance to guarantee himself 3 points. So, yeah.
Even you're not that good. You've just been bloody lucky, mate. No, you can't claim anything over me on that one. As Jake would say, straws clutching at on that. But oh no, for whatever I said, I think it was 3. Let's have a look what people are saying. Arsenal says Jeff to win 3-0. Told you has gone 3-1. Mike's gone 4-0. Hella did listen to you. She's gone 4-1. I suppose, you know, if Arsenal weren't to score, then it would be Arse-0. True Red has gone, he's agreed with me, 3-0. And I'm sorry, that was bad. Hella Neves to go to La Liga. He's done with this season and Wolves. I made a song for Juventus based on the Hokey Pokey.
Is that about getting the points, dots, points out, in, out, taking it up, back? Is that what it was, Hannah? Is that what it was?
Probably. But the Italian league obviously know how to make a quick decision, not like the ballless FA here. Brad, how have you found this season? Arsenal 3-0, Arteta out, lol.
Well, at least my club wasn't in denial about staying up this season. We all knew it was a hard task. Your lot were in denial more than the actual River Nile that you were going to win a league this season.
Boom, boom. And I've got to say, thank you so much. Told you, bro, has just become a new member. Thank you so very much, mate. We just want to get a few more. What we're going to be doing next season, on top of everything that was showed up earlier, is that we're going to be doing some member-only shows. So just some shows that will only be for members. So we're not going to go for big numbers or huge, viewing figures. It will be shows just for members to get involved in. So told you are a gentleman, sir. Thank you very much for that. It really is much appreciated. Brad, Southampton, Liverpool, doesn't really matter, does it?
No, I don't even think Liverpool fans will give a monkey's toss about this game. I think Southampton fans would love to go back to the days where they used to mock and say that it was Southampton A versus Liverpool versus Southampton B when these two sides met, because you know how they say when you get attached to a supermarket, it's always good shopping at Aldi or Lidl sometimes. Well, we all remember the days where Liverpool were that jealous of Southampton's development that instead of finding their own youngsters to train up, they were just robbing them off Southampton. Long of them days gone, haven't they? From us saying that Liverpool were the Southampton B of the world. I think Southampton would just like to be the Liverpool D or E side at this point right now than where they are. Not quite as disastrous as other teams before them, but the first to have an R next to the name this season. They won't even get to a respectable 30-point mark. It's you talk about circuses. They all seem to have one thing in common, don't they? They've got an S in there somewhere, haven't they? You've got Chelsea, you've got Spursy, and then you've got Southampton. So these joke clubs keep putting out joke performances, and unfortunately, I think this is going to be a harrowing one. I think it's Bobby Firmino's big giant smile and his last game for Liverpool. Liverpool, I mean, they could do what they did against Stoke, that infamous season where they were 5-0 down at half time and lost 6-1, but there's no Steven Gerrard in sight, so that won't happen. And I know I've literally just predicted it, but I'm going it in reverse for an away fixture to do it. I just think Southampton are done, and I think Liverpool will end this one. Special treat going on there for the missus, then, is it, when he win? Southampton.
Have a happy birthday from us to you.
Wish her a happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. He'll be giving her a candle to blow out, but that's for another time and show. I've gone for another 5-0, but not, unfortunately for Southampton fans, not in the favour of Southampton. I'm going for an away 5-0 win to Liverpool.
It would just be, not from a Southampton point of view, but it would be hilarious if this was 9-0. You could just see it coming. I've got to say a big thank you to Southampton, because I think they've saved us from having yet another Swansea manager turn up at our door and probably embarrass us. I can't even remember his name, but he was being linked. What did you go for? 5?
I went for 5-star Liverpool, yes.
For the first time tonight, I'm going to agree with you.
It's a fix. There you are. You heard it here first. Doctor in these results.
That could be the one that just keeps us apart. Sorry, everybody, but especially Southampton fans. But right, let's have a look. Where do we go? We've done Arsenal. Let's be honest here. Man City did Arsenal all season. Hey, Liverpool to win 2-1, says Jeff. My thank yous to Told You. I really do appreciate it. 4-0, says Luke. Jeff says, yes, it was, Brad. We're taking 15 off, then giving 15 back. We'll have another think now. Here's another shock. We'll do the hokey pokey and we'll take another 10. Oops, now you're down. I suppose that might have been better had I sung it to the tune of hokey pokey, but I only realised halfway through that it actually wasn't.
Helly was singing it and you were reading it out as a Boris Johnson statement. It was like, I had 15 on it, and 15 off.
Oh, God. My mate Boris. Southampton 2, Liverpool 3. That could actually happen, because Southampton last home game, Premier League in front of the fans. Russell Martin, that was the guy. I think I still have. Who's that star guy that did the Russell? Oh, big lad. Used to do the astrology. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad. I didn't want him to come, but apparently people were linking with us. Southampton pool 2-2. I'll be spending Sunday with a bunch of Liverpool supporters. Enjoy, Hella, enjoy. Disappointed, Chris. What in my non-singing of the hokey pokey? I do apologise. And since when does it become the hokey pokey? The worrying thing, of course, with the hokey cokey, the worrying thing is, what if that is what it's all about?
You know what, Chris? If that is what it's all about, then what you need to do is you just need to turn around.
Maybe we could live without the wisecracks.
Maybe we could, but we wouldn't keep our sanity.
Okay, let us go to the last game, which is Palace hosting Forest. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly my sentiments, Chris. You know, this is the third show in a row you've made me say this quote. You know, I'm going. You didn't think you'd manage it there, but here we go. You just said last game, who gives a shit? It's Crystal Palace versus the Tree Huggers. Just like last time, Chris, to quote Meatloaf, you took the words right out of my mouth because I'm going for this. I'll get straight out of the way because I could not give a monkey's toss about this game. Sorry, Luke, I couldn't because it doesn't mean anything to either of these clubs. Congratulations on staying in the Premier League, but this is definitely last on match of the day. In fact, Gary Lineker might decide to tape over it with a different video because it'd be that boring and not put us through it because it's 0-0, mate. I'm going for my only dead rubber, and it'll be a proper dead rubber score.
You know, it's like when you get the day and the missus has taped Love Island or something over match of the day. And, I nearly said Dynasty then, but that would have been showing my age, really, wouldn't it? But look, I can see what you're saying, and I think you could be right, but I'm actually going to go. I don't think Forest will score because it's away from home, and they're awful away from home. And look, it's Forest, and I know that I like Luke, and he went for a Leicester win, and I feel bad doing this, but no, I don't. 5-0 Palace. There we go. Luke, if you're watching, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist it. Right. If I lose because of that prediction, I'll be cursing myself. No, are we? So Jeff's gone Palace 0, Forest 0. Hella has gone. I've enjoyed watching Palace since old man Roy took over. Well, yeah, exactly. Proved us all wrong. 3-2. She's gone. And told you's gone 0-0 as well. Not Russell Harty. He was the what was he called? It's going to bug me. Russell Grant. That's it. True, those if anybody's bothered, not really. And True has gone Crystal Palace 1, Forest 2. Look, shall we have a bit of fun, Brad, to end the show off?
Yeah, go on then.
And what we'll do is we'll do it right after this. He says, I'm going to have to stop putting in alphabetical order, aren't I?
It would help if you organised.
Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Okay, so that gave me a chance to get it up.
Dirty bastard.
Doesn't take me long. Problem is, once it's up, I can't do anything with it. Right, give me your scores for the 3 games that involve Everton and Leeds.
I have gone Everton 0, Bournemouth 2.
Everton 0, Bournemouth 2.
I have gone Leeds United 1, Spursy McSpursy 3.
1.
And I have gone Leicester City 2, Wet Spam United 0.
0. Okay, so I've just realised that you can't see it, so let me bring it up. So these are your predictions just for those 3 games. Everton 0, Bournemouth 2, 1, Spurs 3, 2, West Ham. Should we have a look how that leaves at the bottom?
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, let me click. How do I do it? Calculate. Do. You've got us staying up with 34 points. Everton in 18th on 33, and Leeds on 19th on 31. So you didn't quite get us into Europe. Can I just say to worldfootball.net that you need to update your questions. Who is the best manager in the Premier League? You've got Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Nuno Espirito Santo, and you've even got Brendan Rodgers in there. No! I'm tempted to click on Brendan Rodgers just to see. So, oh God, Brendan Rodgers.
Bell end.
Yeah, okay, I could have stopped playing that, but I just love it so much. Right, Brad, can you read me out? Read me out my scores, please.
You went Everton 1, Bournemouth 1.
Okay.
You went Leeds United 1, Spursy McSpursy 1.
Ooh.
And then you went Leicester City 2, West Ham United 1.
I think I may have got the same as well.
Yes.
Oh, I have. In fact, we're in the same order. Leicester on 34, Everton on 34, but going down on goal difference, and Leeds on 32. So that was just a bit of fun. I thought we'd have a look at that and see. I'm going to be quiet now. Tell me all about the Prediction League next season.
Yeah, so the Prediction League, the 2023-24 Prediction League, it won't matter what division we're in. Obviously, it will just mean more games for you guys. But if you want to get involved, you're going to have to follow me on Twitter at Fulltime Focus. It's all one word. Just send me a message on there saying, hi, Brad, put my name down for the Predictions League. I've got a few names down already who have sent me that message and I've followed them. All you don't need to do is follow me, and obviously I'll follow you back. And when it comes round to that time, obviously when the season starts, we'll be doing shows regular towards it. So you'll get your reminders and you'll be giving your reminders before the start. But that'll be your only reminders to get them done. What I'll need from you then is for you to give me all the fixtures that go from, where is it? You've got it on here. You've got it on here somewhere, haven't you? Where it actually says from the weekend all the way around to the following Friday. So any midweek games that are coming up in that week, you'll need to get them across to me as well. And make sure you are predicting them as the example is written there. So, for example, don't just put 2-0, 1-0, 3-0, because we all use different sites. They all come in different orders, and I am not encrypting your score predictions. Please put, as the example shows there, please put it as Man City 2, Leeds United 1, or even if you put Man City or MCFC, as long as there's not two teams with the same initials, something simple that I can understand as long as I know who it is. Don't put Leeds in because I don't know who Leeds United is. As Chris's number example there is missing an E on it. You can see the scores. You get 3 points to get the score correct, and 1 if you correctly guess the outcome. And make sure you get them into me before Thursday of that week, 9 o'clock. Otherwise, yeah, to you too. Otherwise, they will be null and void. I am judge, jury, and executioner on your punishment. If you forget 1 week, you get a warning. Week 2, you might lose a few points. 3 strikes, just like in the American sport of baseball, and you will be out. So do let me know in advance. If there's any reason you can't do them, I will accept that, and that's totally fine. But do make sure you're keeping up to date with your Twitter messages. And like I said, just message me over on Twitter.
And I put Leeds United so that we weren't going to be totally dependent on spelling, etc., and you would accept those.
Oh, yeah, I will expect spelling mistakes, so, it's okay.
As long as we understand who they are. But do remember, this is Brad.
Yes. Don't worry, if the championship comes around, I will not be expecting you to write out Queen's Park Rangers twice a week. I will accept QPR. Do not worry. As long as I know which game is what, don't worry.
Yeah. Hella said, a sick note, guys. Just note.
What was that? A couple of things to do over.
Oh, sorry, no, sorry. Hella said a sick note. Sorry.
Oh, yes. If you got a sick note, then that's fine. I can understand you missing a week if for whatever reason, if you're maybe on a family holiday or whatever. But let me know in advance. Otherwise, I'll have to mark you down as absent. You won't get your 100% attendance awards at the end of the season. Brilliant. I will note your name down in advance, Jeff, because I know you'll do it because you do love doing a show. So even though you've not officially messaged me, I've got you on the list of official players that have gone. So don't worry, Jeff.
You've got till the 11th of June, everybody. I'm going to mute Brad for a second. You got till the 11th of June to sign up. And I think, Jeff, if you just click on the link below, it just converts it into Philippine dollars, is it you've got over there? Or whatever. I think, is it? Well, I'm not sure. It used to be dollars, but yeah, and just check, and I think you just do that when it automatically just converts it into the correct money when it comes to our end. So don't worry about that, and obviously we appreciate that if you do that. True says age comes with the spelling errors, Chris. I'm retired. That's what it is. I'm old and retired. And Hella says goodbye and good night. Thank you so very much, and thank you to Brad, who has very generously been with us this evening and not only shared his knowledge but shared his burps with us as well. And you got a day off tomorrow, Brad. What are you going to do without me?
I don't know. I might start playing Akon's Lonely on my phone and sad songs just to get me through the day. 24 hours later, Chris, I won't know what to do with myself.
Well, don't do that, Brad. I'm going to let you go, but thank you so very much, mate. I will see you tomorrow morning on the Horn and Levy podcast.
You won't see me on there.
You got invited, didn't you?
Nope.
You did?
Don't think so.
Stay online. And we'll have a chat afterwards.
Okay, no worries. Well, thanks everybody, and I will see you guys on here at the latest on Sunday. So,
yes,
yeah,
indeed. Cheers, mate. Thanks to Brett. He was invited, but let's be honest with you. He tries to put the predictions in for a show on a different night to when the prediction show is. He turns up late for a show the other day with 20 minutes. I think I'm gonna have to issue him a LTID TV written warning. I really am. He's off now to check his Twitter. He'll come back here. Oh yeah, I got that, and I replied to that. Blah blah blah. He has replied to it. But no, thanks to Brad. Thanks to Steve for the whole season. Really do appreciate it. We will be putting a league table up at the end, but this is how it stands. No disrespect to Steve, but he wasn't really in the running, so that's why we didn't replace him today. But as you can see, a point between myself and Brad. So we have kept it going till the end of the season, to the last match. Take note, Arsenal. But thank you to everybody that's been in. Please do. We will remind you regarding the new look. Basically, 9:00 on Sunday night, we have got a show dedicated to what's happening to the channel next season. And of course, we can't dot the I's and cross the T's until we know where we're going to be. Thank you to everybody in the chat. A big, huge, and I mean a big, huge thank you to Tolja, who became a new member. Thank you so very, very much, mate. I'll do the artwork for you next time, and also to Ash as well. Really, really do appreciate it. As well as that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash that like, click the notification bell. We have got a show between now and I think I'm not off until next Saturday, so you're going to be inundated with us. Thank you to the mods that were in the chat. Thank you, like I say, to all our members whose names have been going along the bottom. Really, really do appreciate it. And we'll be back, well, say 10:15 in the morning on the horn and leave it. And if I can find an Everton fan, although I must admit it's looking bad, but if we can, we'll be back at 1 o'clock tomorrow for the relegation special. And then at 7 p.m, I'll be on West Ham Unofficial for their preview show. So thanks very much to everybody. And if you've been listening on the podcast, thank you for lending me your ears as always. Play this one more time. I love it. And I will see you all at some point over the weekend. Fingers crossed. Keep the faith and all that. But it isn't easy, is it? Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.